May your may our voices be large and heard. Hello and welcome to Rhythm and Pixels, a video game music podcast. This is episode 26-4, and we are your hosts. My name is Rob Nichols.
And I'm Pernell.
And every week we listen to great music from all consoles and all generations. And we have to say at this top of the episode, before we even get started, that next week, this will be next Thursday evening around 7:30 p.m. Easternish, we are having our next Patreon live episode that I'm just now springing on Pernell. Pernell, what should our topic be next week?
Well, geez, that's just gravy. I know. I almost want to say an interesting one, but it might always fit the theme of the show normally, like anxiety.
Anxiety.
And I say that because of a game I've been playing recently, or a track I started to really listen to recently that embodies anxiety.
Okay. I think I can handle it. I'll do my best to handle that episode. So next week, it'll be next Thursday. After this episode has been released, we are going to have our Patreon episode. So if you're a Patreon member, you get access at any level. You get access to a live streamed recording of our shows. You get to hang out with us, chat with us, and make jokes and all sorts of silly things. But today is super important.
Make a sandwich. Make a sandwich.
This episode has been, I don't know, a couple years in the making or a year in the making. We have all the way from
the West Coast.
The West. No, oh my God. Metro. All I want to say is Metro City. It's not Metro City. It's I'm gonna get there. He's looking at me. All the way from Nitro, from Wave. No, it's from KVGM, the last Wave. From Emerald City.
Oh my God, Rob. We have all the way from a place that has some buildings and water.
I'm like turning right. We have Hammock from KVGM, the last Wave, a most excellent, most chill podcast. And they air from, what city is this, Hammock?
Aqua City.
Aqua City.
I love that. He's like,
you're close. I mean, there are a lot of cities on the island, and a couple of the Nitro City is one of them. I just don't go there a lot.
That's where Crash Bandicoots.
Bad dudes hang out there.
Yeah, Nitro City. He said Emerald City. Oh my.
Well, anyways, this episode's been a long time in the making. We've talked about this. I think we talked about this when he last came on. Tell us about the topic, Hammock. I'm going to give this to you. And why did you want to do this so much?
Okay, so the topic is buddy cop movies, buddy cop series, and if you are a child of the 80s or the 90s, you may remember that buddy cop movies were a staple, and the music that accompanies a lot of these movies is great. I mean, it's full of funk, a little jazz, some really cheesy guitar and saxophone. It's really runs the gamut for good music. So, in doing my show, I come across a lot of these tracks that I think, man, this is perfect buddy cop material. And I thought, what better place to share these tracks than with you guys here on Rhythm and Pixels.
And it's a great idea. That's much appreciated, because I will say it sent me back into the thought process, like, buddy cops. What were some buddy cop shows I used to either watch, or funny enough, some of them actually started before I was born and they ended after I was born. So I was like, hey, that name sounds familiar. It was because maybe my parents talked about it and it just stuck out. Like Cagney and Lacey. That was a big one that stuck out. But so many. There's a lot of them.
Have you heard?
And it's funny how they always tend to be something in something.
There's I got into watching old episodes of Columbo. And I guess I turned 70 years old overnight, but I'm watching old episodes of Columbo, and the music on that show is it's weird. It ranges from that kind of like funk stankiness to like weird circus music, like when something like really strange is happening. Like, I don't know who did the music direction for that show, but it's all over the place. But that's what I was thinking. I was thinking about like super cheesy chill tracks with a whole bunch of stank on it. Like like it just wouldn't fit your show, but would fit like the right topic, the right feeling, and
yeah, exactly.
Buddy cop.
And I've got some stuff. I got some stuff today to share with everybody. But on KVGM, the Last Wave, it's not just excellent music for 30 minutes every Sunday. It is, and it's not just like your words of wisdom. You tell little stories about each little song, and I love it. I don't just I just smile every time I listen to the show. Do you script it? Do you like throughout the week? Do you write down oh, this would be really funny?
It's not scripted, but when I listen to tracks, I write down things that come to mind.
Okay.
And, because 95% of the games that I feature on the show, I've never played.
Right.
I've never heard of.
Me too.
Or, so I have to just go off the music and what the music reminds me of. And, some of the stuff about, what the games are about, I'll go into that sometimes. And that's not scripted, but I have some notes that'll help me guide, what's going on. But, for the most part, it's just silly stuff that... I run by my wife. She usually helps
That's awesome.
co-write these shows. And,
I think that's pretty cool, actually. Because I can say, have you ever? I'm assuming this is probably where it goes into the process. Like when you listen to certain music, you can kind of write a scenario in your head that is occurring in accompaniment to the music. So it might be, for example, a chase music that you could probably see appearing in a chase scene. So you could see in your head a scenario where a person jumps through a window with a bag of money and the other person crashes the door. You can actually write the entire scene in your head. And that, to me, is a large part of what makes music in games and movies and TV so great, especially if you don't even know where it originally came from, because your imagination runs wild with it.
Yeah. Are we Are we ever gonna have hear your wife's voice on the show? Maybe do a little back and forth. I think that would be
she
great.
said she's open to it. I mean, she is not a huge fan of video game music. She likes the video game music that doesn't sound like video game music, and I feature some of that on the show. Anything that sounds like Jamiroquai, she's like, "Oh, I like that." But
that could be an episode of itself of your show when you think about it. It could be KVG on the Next Wave, music that ain't game music, but it's really game music. And you can have her listening to it with you and try to have her paint an image of what she hears from what she can get from the songs.
Yeah.
And then, this comes from a game that does this. And you're got it. It's pretty close.
Yeah, that became kind of a bedtime routine where I'd be coming up with tracks for a show and putting together a playlist, and I'll be like, here, just listen to this song, and where does it put you? And she'll be like, oh, well, I feel like I'm in a department store in the 1980s, or I'm having dinner on the coast somewhere at a fancy restaurant. It's yes, perfect. Okay, great, thank you.
It's like a shared.
Well, how do you know I picked this music from the Earthbound shopping mall scenes? It's a perfect choice. I don't know. I honestly, that seems like it'd be a pretty fun thing to just do in general. Hey, what do you think this is? Have you ever been flat out has she ever been pretty close or accurate to what it was? Hello?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, we played that game before where I'll be like, all right, can you tell me what genre this game is from, or what genre this game is? And, her first guess usually either a racing game or a golf game. So she's kind of got the golf tracks down.
Yeah.
To kind of figure out the golf sound.
You have a series of mahjong and dating sim type tracks on your show. The mahjong games can kind of get a little smooth.
They get a little smooth, and those dating simulators, they're pretty definitely not family friendly, but the music is very smooth.
Yes,
very, very smooth.
What was it? Ed is the one that brought up the idea of that game called and then I got the chance to review the game. So I was like, wait, I can try this out without paying for it, and I can hear the music firsthand. I was like, this music is really good.
Pernell, for one of the tracks you picked, I'm not sure if we're going to play it on the show, but I had to look up the composer for it, and in looking up the game, I was like, oh, okay. It's on the Switch, so it's just racy enough to get that Nintendo seal of okayness.
Yeah, but the music is where it's at. Fortunately, this isn't a Let's Play. This is a music podcast.
Yeah, it's all. So this is an audio medium here. We're it's a theater of the mind. And truly, this week it really is a theater. So we're going to paint a picture. In my mind, I was thinking of creating a whole movies out of these songs, or at least what era or what flavor of a buddy cop movie or TV show would this feel like. And I definitely ran into all sorts of them, and I'm really, really excited to get into this episode. I've been excited all week about this one. So Hammock, why don't you take us away, look through your playlist here, and pick your first track.
Sky's
Okay.
the limit.
Now, you guys are familiar with three-dimensional tennis, right? 3D tennis. You can go outside, you can go to the park, you can step into a court and play some 3D tennis.
Wait, you can go outside?
I
There's a
love
court?
You can with the
in 3 dimensions.
the right gear. Yes. Okay. I'm going to take you to the next dimension, right? The fourth dimension, because this is from the game 4D tennis
Oh.
on the FM Towns. This is the main menu music, and the composer for this is Edwin Dolinski.
Oh man, prepare myself for this next level tennis.
Oh, that's such a nice fade out. That's such a nice fade out. Because the saxophone's fading out, but that synth bass is still a little bit louder than the saxophone. It's like we're going away, but that synth bass is going to hang around for just a little bit longer. That was 4D Tennis, the main menu music for the FM Towns, composed by Edwin Dolinski. And that was picked by Hammock.
He's officially kicked this episode off with a track that gives us all track anxiety.
That's incredible. Like,
because that's good.
It started with the funk. I felt like more and more like synth, like bass, and those synth like organ stabs kept coming in, and I was just like, whoa! And then that saxophone solo, just come on, man. Come on. That is something right there. Thank you so much.
I feel like that's a good like. I was wondering about this too before the episode started. I was like, I wonder how many of our track choices are going to sound like they come from a very specific like environment for like buddy cop shows. Because as you know, there were all kinds. You know, the urban ones. You had ones that took place like in Miami Beach. You had ones that took place out. Heck, there was some that took place on like reservations.
This one is 1970s New York City, or no, 80s New York City.
Well, say 70s is too far back. The 80s, just right.
Like, I don't know, man. I got like an Eddie Murphy, like 48 Hours kind of vibe off of this. Well, what were you getting, Hammock?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was getting. You know, it feels like a good intro into the movie. You figure out who exactly these buddy cops are. And, you know, like the best buddy cop scenarios, they may start out on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Yes.
But then this sets the stage. This is a good stage-setting track in, 1980s New York City. the rough streets.
Is this a scenario where like the one cop is a rugged officer and the other one's just fresh out of the country? He's like, I just love relaxing and feeling good. And now here I am in New York City. I'm a cop now.
I'm a cop now.
It's like, wait a minute. Chief, I need to talk to you for a minute. Who is this guy? Why'd you sign me to him? Well, I feel as though you guys would help each other out quite a bit on this case. It's a really particular one. Yeah. The ice cream chugger.
The ice cream chugger. I like that. You have to have like two characters on the opposite sides of the spectrum. Even like on Law and Order, you've got like Chris Maloney on one side, but then you got Ice-T working the streets, you know? And yeah. just different personalities, and they got to clash somehow. Even in like more modern day like procedurals, like in Bones, you got like David Boreanaz is like the cop, and then you've got whatever Deschanel, she's like a scientist. You know, but they're from different worlds. But will they kiss? Will Ice-T and Chris Maloney kiss? I don't know.
With the right crime, I don't know.
Yeah, with the right crime, yeah. It takes a few seasons and a couple.
And a very special episode.
A very special episode. I like how at the end of this last track, the how it started to fade out. It did feel like the opening of a movie where maybe you saw somebody on their way, like they're both on their way to work, but then at the end, like they're driving away, or they just got an assignment and they're going, or they're eating a hot dog. But that's just how it felt. Like it felt like the introduction into their lives, and I'm here for that. Yeah. I'm ready to like fall into that world.
Oh, if you got that kind of music serenading your journey, why not?
Yeah, why not? That's really good.
But here's the real question: do these cops play tennis?
Oh, are they tennis cops?
On their spare time, I think so. They have to.
Well, it's the 80s. This is
gotta get their cardio somewhere else.
Yeah,
that's right.
Racquetball, yeah, racquetball is big. Squash.
That's the fourth dimension. That's the wall behind them.
And for the record, racquetball is awesome.
Racquetball is cool.
Like it.
Yeah, my dad was a big racquetball player in the 80s. All right, I did enjoy that, but we have some more. We have some more tunes.
We have some more
tunes, more buddy cop goodness. This is like when we talked about when you brought this up, I knew that there was some good, interesting, funky music on the Panasonic 3DO, and I think it came up in the last episode for some reason. I was talking about the 3DO, but this is for the Panasonic 3DO. This is for the game The Even More Incredible Machine. So the Incredible Machine was a PC game. That was a bunch of Rube Goldberg devices, and you had to solve puzzles with. You know, really clever. You would do that in like school. But the Even More Incredible Machine meant that you had to do it on your 3DO, and that was something else. This track is called Funk. It's the Funk track. I don't have a composer for this one. I'm sure that a listener named Electric Boogaloo might know who it is. I'm guessing. But here we go. This is the Even More Incredible Machine, Funk. And we're back. That was Funk from the even more incredible machine. For the Panasonic 3DO, the funkiest home console ever created. And Hammock actually knew the composer for this one. He's played some of this music on his show before. And the composer is Tim Clarke. Said that Tim Clarke did some fusion, some jazz fusion. So this sounds like it kind of fits in that world there. So thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, man.
I gotta say, like, honestly, it's kind of funny because like the 3DO is a console that I pretty much made sure to avoid at all costs. So it was a bit of a surprise that whenever a new track comes and gets mentioned from that system, it's all new to me because, again, I'd never even really got a chance to expose myself to what it was capable of producing. So this was really good.
Yeah,
there was a toe tap going on over here.
There's some interesting music on this this device here. I went through this kind of rabbit hole on YouTube of people who had ripped audio and video from different 3DO like titles, and there's a lot that are just like what's the word, karaoke, or just like video, like really like low res video with some audio from I would say some adult magazines and things of that nature. Just really interesting things that just got released on this system. I guess they wanted the idea of having a CD-based system was much headier than the reality of what people wanted, which was interactive media. You know.
But I will say this though, it did have one thing on it that a friend showed me of all times. Not even 3 years ago for the first time. And originally I was like, I don't want to watch this. This is stupid. Turned out to be one of the most hilarious things. It's called Real Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Oh my God. That thing is hysterical. And I recommend it to anybody who likes terrible media, like intentionally seeks it out.
Is that just a straight up movie, or is it like some kind of like interactive thing like Night Trap?
Well, it's an interactive kind of, not even like Night Trap. It's just flat out a scenario's playing out, and at different intervals, the game will say, do you think he should punch his boss or walk out? And you're like, I think he should punch his boss. So you press the button for it, and it plays out what would happen if he punched his boss. And this whole sequence would run. And it would just keep going.
When Netflix had like their Choose Your Own Adventure Black Mirror episode, where
totally
you like,
stole it from Plumbers Wear Ties.
The 3DO, it's already on the 3DO, guys. That's how they're getting all their
right.
ideas.
Hey, wait a minute! That guy isn't a plumber. This is terrible.
All right, so when I listen to this music, I have two tracks. This is the more lighthearted track, and this gave me more of like a Turner and Hooch kind of vibe. You know, the detective with the wacky dog solving crimes together, kind of vibe. So I thought this would be like Pernell and Poochie, and I wrote up a few things on it. And
for the record, let's get this out the way. He sprung this on me right before the episode started, so this is a cold read for me. Let's just throw that out there.
All right, so I'm going to read the direction, and Hammock, you're going to be the chief. Is that okay?
Okay.
And Pernell, you're going to play the part of Pernell, all right?
I don't know how to play that guy. What does he do? What's he like?
All right, so Pernell and Poochie. Detective Pernell. Hold on, I need some music. Hold on, give me some music here. Here we go. Detective Pernell is investigating a string of high-profile robberies, but he keeps coming up short. The chief of police decides this lone wolf needs a new partner. The most decorated officer in the city, Officer Poochie the dog. He's a 7 foot tall detective, and she's a 5-pound wiener dog. Together, they fight crime every Thursday at 9. All right. Daytime, police precinct. Pernell is in the chief's office.
You messed up, Pernell.
No, you don't have to tell me, man. Oof.
No, I mean, this time you really messed up. In the past, I would just say, hey, we're doing our best. We're only human. Sometimes people get murdered, and that would be okay.
Well, I mean, why don't you just tell them that again? I mean, works for me.
Because this time they've been kidnapped. Because this time they've kidnapped the president's dog.
Those jerkwads.
And now I know you like to work solo, and I've respected that in the past, but this isn't your run-of-the-mill drug murder spree. This is the president's dog.
Whoa. You're not saying what I think you're saying.
In walks a small wiener dog with a badge and a gun.
Okay, you've convinced me, Poochie. Let's get this scumbag.
Poochie barks and spins in circles.
You can say that again, Poochie. All right, so I got this dog. I love how he just shows up. The dog walks in the office.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, this dog's packing. Let's do it.
I just love the idea of like no one's like got the dog on a leash. No one's walking the dog into the. Just you open the door and the dog walks in. It's like
he clearly just had his coffee. He's mellowed out.
Yeah.
He's had his coffee for the day.
Oh,
I've always liked the idea of that. Like, what was it? Like I said, the main one was Turner and Hooch back in the day, where it was a movie where the guy was teamed up with like a dog that was kind of rowdy. I can't remember if the dog belonged to someone else and he just kind of took care of him for a while, or if he was actually a police dog. But they were kind of just like partners, and they weren't even like. I don't even think he was a cop or so. Just
no. He was. No, it was Tom Hanks, right? He was.
Yeah,
a
Tom
cop.
Hanks and that big Mastiff.
Yeah, the big Mastiff.
Not Mastiff, but that.
Yeah, I think it was a Mastiff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was.
But
I know he's either that or a Saint Bernard, but whatever the dog is that just drools like crazy all the time.
yeah, I think it was a Saint Bernard. I think you're right. But I don't think the dog was a police dog. Just a giant dog that would just wreck Tom Hanks's day. I don't know.
But they still pulled the buddyship of it very well, and that just how the dog was just well trained to be a jerk when he wanted to be, just like flop out and drool over the couch.
Yeah.
And they had the name was like, Hooch! And the dog's like, roar. It's like, what the heck is this? It's so ridiculous, and yet I can't turn away. It's perfect.
There's some other ones,
like
right? There's some other like
Canine Cop.
Canine Cop, that's the one. Yeah, Canine Cop.
Yeah, with Jim Belushi.
That was a Jim Belushi. Yes, I was thinking it was a Quaid. No, it was a Belushi.
So if you remember,
German
was
Shepherd.
that one where in that case, was the dog a police dog, or was he just like a normal dog?
I'm pretty sure it was a police dog. I think it was like a German Shepherd that was trained.
I like how you're asking, like he's the expert on.
I mean, he could always say, "I have no idea. I didn't see the movie. I just read the wiki." And that'd be like, "That's me on most movies." So I got you.
If Homeward Bound, if or Milo and Otis, like if Milo was a cop, would that be a buddy cop movie?
Well, I mean, what would the case be? They were just trying to find their way home.
After solving a murder.
Oh, Jesus. This murder took us all the way out of the city. How do we get back? Sniff for clues.
Sniffing for clues. Okay, Pernell, we're on to your first track.
Okay, so my first track is going to come from a game that I played a little ways back, and it's called Beat Cop. And the track title is called Corpus Delicti. And it's composed by Piotr Musial, which I may have mispronounced that, but it's my first day.
Yeah, I typed it out and I still don't understand it. So that's okay. Here we go.
There we go. Welcome back. You were just listening to Corpus Delicti from the game Beat Cop, composed by I'm actually going to change my attempt at this because it's spelled P-I-O, so Piotr Musial. And I'm going to take it. If that's wrong, I'm okay with being right. Just tell me.
Yeah, contact us and let us know, because I want to meet you now, because that song was rad. That's so cool.
It's really good. It's really good. And I'm glad I remembered it, because I was digging. Like, you know how it is. Like, you get a topic that's very specific. Yeah. And when it's that specific, it's like, it has to be just right. If I don't get it just right, I'm going to feel weird about it. So I was just trying to remember. And I was like, wait a minute. I played Beat Cop. That's perfect for this. And the music, as you can hear, sells it too. So the idea behind Beat Cop, though, is that you're a former detective. So you used to be a detective, no partner though, but you're a former detective, and you lose your job because you're framed for a murder that you didn't commit. But it still disgraces you so much that you get bumped down to being a beat cop, you know, writing tickets on the block.
Wait a minute. You're framed for murder, and then instead of going to jail, you just get bumped down to a beat cop?
Pretty much.
That's a problem with the police system right there.
I'm sure something I'm forgetting, like maybe he got out, but at that time it was already too late for his record or something. No,
we're going with your story. This is what's wrong.
Everything's terrible. But afterwards, the way the game itself works, like it's like a day-to-day procedure. Like you're like walking the street and you're writing tickets. So if you walk past a car that's illegally parked, you got to write a ticket for them and hit them with it.
That's awesome.
And you have a ticket quota that you have to meet every day, or you're in trouble. In addition to that, though, you also are dealing with like normal, like gritty cities type stuff. So, like for example, the mafia's work in the city, and they have people on the take. You can get on the take, which gets you a cut of cash. But at that point, when that happens, you got to look the other way at certain stuff. Or you can be on the by the books cop and try to take care of business. But unfortunately, you're a bit down on your luck. Your pay's down because you got beat cop bumped. You got divorced from your wife. She's taking you for alimony. So every day or every couple of days, you get hit for a deep alimony cut. And if you don't have that money, zip. So you gotta have enough money to cover that.
I went to the website to look this up to figure out, the composer and the game information, and it was really cool pixel art, like really nice, like style. I really like the style of it. But the tagline was writing tickets and fighting crime. And I'm like, this sounds incredible. How did Pernell get into this one? But all right, here we go. All right, real talk for both of you. When was the last time you got a ticket? A ticket?
Like, you mean like a parking or speeding ticket?
Yeah, come on. Let's hear it.
I'm not ashamed of it. I'll tell you flat out. So, I have gotten three parking tickets in my entire life. Of those parking tickets, I have only paid one. I fought the other two and won both times. One time, it was because I was running late for a job interview in Philadelphia. Drove up there. I wasn't used to driving into Philly, and parking is horrible.
Oh, yeah.
Parked the car, got out, and saw a person that was dressed like a police officer. And I was like, hey, is it legal for me to park here?
Dressed like a police officer? Question mark? Is that what that was?
Pretty much, yes. Because I thought they were a cop. The sign that I parked next to had two signs, one above it, one below. One pointing to the left that said, like, 2-hour parking, and one pointing to the right that said something that equivalent, like, you can only park between these hours. So I'm like, okay, which side of these arrows is my card considered to be a part of? Because I can't read this. I've never seen a sign combo like this before. So the cop couldn't answer. I just interpreted the sign as best I could, and I went in for my interview. Came out, had a ticket. I got home, wrote the most scathing letters, like, look here, man, I'm from Podunk, Delaware. I'm in your city. No one can help me read your abominations of signs, your terrible signage. A cop couldn't answer my question, and I'm trying to get a job out here. You want me to pay a ticket with money I don't have because I didn't get a job? You better leave me alone. I'm not paying this ticket. If your own citizens can't understand your signs, what am I supposed to do?
Wow.
And I beat the ticket.
You beat it.
That's right. Second time was a ticket in Philadelphia. Another one. Beat that ticket too. Of course, don't get me wrong, I'm afraid I actually technically didn't beat it, and one of them just parked my car. I was like, this is a ticket from like 2005. We gotta get this guy.
You come back, look for your car, and it's like been towed or something. Yeah, it's been impounded. So Aqua City, though, I can't imagine people driving that fast in Aqua City, huh?
What are you talking about?
Yeah, not a lot of cars.
Not a lot of cars.
A lot of golf carts and Segways.
I would have thought that Aqua City would
yeah,
have some cast with like nice fast cars. They want to get the breeze blowing through their hair.
I like the idea of segways getting everywhere.
That's Nitro City. No, but the last time I got a ticket was 2003 in California, actually, and I think it was just a speeding ticket, and I don't remember why I was speeding. It was one of those weird, maybe work zone areas. But that's the last time, and I did not fight it. I paid it, and I went to a comedy defense class, where they have a comedian that does the driving defensive driving.
That almost sounds like a reward, not a punishment.
Are you saying like a defensive driving class, but led by
it's a defensive driving class with the comedian
Dave Coulier?
He was an actual comedian.
Dave Coulier teaches driving.
Cut it out. The speeding, I mean, cut it out.
That's pretty amazing. I would totally do that. Yeah. No, the last one was Pernell. It was you and I think Brad. We were going to a DDR tournament up at 8 on the Break in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And I parked on the wrong side of a one-way because I was just trying to like park anywhere. I wasn't about to parallel, so I just went in. And I was facing the wrong way. I'm like, no one's gonna bother me. And we were there for like 8 hours, and we walk out, and I had a ticket. And
at least you only had one, so you probably get that one drink. Like you were wrong on at 2 o'clock. You were wrong at 8 o'clock. And I totally forgot. I did have one other ticket that's way more recent than the other two I mentioned. This was like maybe 20.
We don't have to get. I mean, if you're gonna incriminate yourself, we can move on.
No, this was please, that ain't crimin' nothing. It was one of those scenarios where you're driving down a normal road, and the road is like speed limit 55, so of course I was going 70.
Right.
And then you round a turn, and you go into like this
going 55 because you ultimate drifter Pernell initial P.
That's right. I cut that turn. But then the moment you make the turn, you end up in this like small town. This is like in Pennsylvania, like in Maryland. I'm sorry, down in Maryland.
Right. Yeah.
And the moment you make the turn, you're in this town, and the speed limit plummets. But the signage indicating that the speed limit drops doesn't really appear. Like, it doesn't stick out. And of course, I'm already comfortable with my cruise speed, so I'm like, I'm okay. Everything's good. So I'm driving. And I still was going slower because, of course, when you're in an area that has tighter drives, you're going to slow down naturally because you want to be careful. But I was still going over the speed limit. So cop comes out of nowhere, pulls me over. This is like 1 a.m. And I'm sitting there like, my hands are on the wheel. I am reaching for my wallet right now. I was talking through every step.
Yeah.
Every step. I was like, I am thirsty, but I won't get a drink.
we should bring everything back to how me and Pernell both feel about the police. So here we go. All right, so we're going to move on to our next track by, I think we're about to get back to Hammock, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
That's right.
Bring us into the funk zone, is all I'm saying.
Okay, we're going to take you maybe to Miami for this next track. I'm feeling a little bit of a Miami Vice vibe for this one.
Nice.
It's from a game called Paradise Killer, which I played a couple tracks on the show on KVGM The Last Wave. This one is called Midori Eyes, and the composer is Barry Epic Topping.
You can't beat that.
No, it's the best toppings. All right, here we go.
get a new ow.
Executive producer, Robin Pernell. Wow, that was Midori Eyes from the game Paradise Killer from Barry Epic Topping. Wow. All I gotta say is wow. That was so much fun. I enjoyed that start to finish. Thank you. That was great.
I think that may have pushed that track up my backlog list. Now it needs to get booted up.
Yeah. Oh man. So you said you've explored some of this music on your show before. Some music from this game, rather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. The soundtrack's really good. I highly recommend it. And I think this game came out last year. I don't know a lot about it. It looks interesting. I think it's a murder mystery on an island.
I got that.
But the music is fantastic.
So the idea behind it is there's elements that I don't quite know either because, again, it's in the backlog as opposed to my played log. But the idea is like it takes place in this really weird world that exists in like a weird like pocket nebula. And there's this weird ritual that takes place every couple of like decades or centuries that's supposed to transition the place into a perfect utopia. But someone gets murdered right before the procedure is completed to make it happen. So your character is named Lady Lovedyes, who's been locked in a pocket dimension for like the last couple decades or centuries. And she gets let out. Literally, she crash bombs onto the island. And she has to solve the mystery of who killed this person. Now, here's the rub for Paradise Killer that makes it unique. It's an open world exploration game with the intent being to solve the murder. And you can solve the murder whenever you want, so long as you have the evidence that you believe is enough to frame someone for the murder. So you investigate, you interview people, you gain abilities to move around and like investigate different areas. And when you feel as though you have enough evidence to convict somebody, you call the tribunal together and you present your case and the person gets convicted. And it's such an odd concept to me because I'm like, when I've talked about it before on other like dialogues, I'm like, wait a minute, so what if you're wrong? And the people tell me is like, well, you can't be wrong. It's whatever you feel is right, which in its own right seems like so odd to me. It's like you can't be wrong, which means in my eyes it would make me want to work harder to make sure that I'm right.
No, I get that because this music, there's a kind of like confidence to this music right here. You know what I mean? Like there's not just like some of the music we've listened to. There's been a strut, but this has been a very confident walk, a walk of justice.
Wouldn't that be that would be a strut.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
strut of justice.
Well, I would imagine a strut being having a little more funk on it. You know what I mean? Like every second step, I'm like kind of leaning a little bit.
You can do the lean. You can do the points. We
need to hang out and like have a strut session.
That'd be hilarious. Like
strut off.
People in the neighborhood would be like, "What are these guys doing?" I'm like, "We're just practicing our walk." What do you got?
Well, they'll know when we're pointing like, just directly pointing at them and smiling like, "Where's the deal with these guys?" They look confident.
We'll have to file it with the city so that they know what we're doing.
Cops show up. We got reports of 2 people randomly pointing at individuals in the street. What's going on here? Cool, chill, job, turkey. We got this.
Oh my god, and that was an awesome track. All right, here we go. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna get a little bit more serious here. We're talking about backlogs. This is a game that was on my backlog forever, and I'm finally playing. Pernell.
I bet I know what it is. I bet I know the track.
This is Persona.
Does it start with a P?
Persona 5.
But does the track start with a P?
No.
No, really?
Yeah, no. This is so yeah, I finally got around to playing this game. I'm obsessed with the music in this game. I go to this part of the game and just leave it on while I'm doing something else. It's incredible. So I have a lot more time logged in this game than I should. This track is called Layer Cake, and this is the music that plays in the main shop music of the game.
Gun shop, right?
Yeah, the gun shop. So this is Shoji Meguro from Persona 5, Layer Cake. You're listening to Layer Cake from Persona 5, composed by Shoji Meguro. Pernell giving me some game knowledge, some tips while the track was going on.
Because I got to share the wealth. I loved this game.
Because really, I have been texting him while I'm playing this game, being like, I can't beat this boss. What do I do? And Pernell tries to explain, which adds up to just get better at it.
No, not true. Not true. So
this time,
he got stuck on one boss recently, and for some reason, when I do this with a lot of games, ever since save files lacked limits, as in it was just based on how much hard drive space you had, I started making save files all over different games. So I could have like 10 files in one title. So he got stuck on a boss, and I was like, here's what I suggest. Mm-hmm. And then after suggesting, I was like, wait a minute. I wonder if I can still try it. I went to the game, booted it up, had the save file right before the same boss he was stuck on.
You had a save file for every boss in the game.
Yep, so I just rolled up in there, just steamrolled. I'm like, yep, my strategy still works.
Christy,
you can still do
Christy
this.
was watching me. She watched me lose like 8 times in a row. It was demoralizing, like how many times I was losing. And I went back and I was like, I'm grinding. And Pernell's like, no, don't grind. Just do it smarter. And I'm like, you know what that sounds like?
Well, I think Hammock can vouch for me on this, though. Like, some games, by design, are meant to keep grinding from helping you. Like, grinding is something that can give you some small incremental bumps, but it's not going to be the difference between winning and losing. And Persona games and Shin Megami Tensei as a whole are notorious for that, because they expect the player to understand the systems that work. So, and the way I conveyed it to Rob, as far as like what I was referring to him as, he was like, I need to go buy new equipment for my guys. I need better armor and weapons. I was like, let me tell you something. I didn't change. The only weapons I used in that entire game were things I found in treasure chests. That includes armor and weapons. What that means is my main character had the same weapon from the first dungeon to the 6th one. The entire game almost had the same gear on because I wasn't buying it.
Blew my mind. But like you are a Shin Megami Tensei like player from birth. Like this, it's in your blood.
It's like a boy and a demon.
Like you have a persona, and you rebel against the system. But anyway, I picked this track because every time I hear it, I think about like these kinds of like detective shows, because it starts out really dark, and then suddenly, like the guitar and the bass just hits like so hard. And so this is another TV show. Actually, this one's a movie. And this one is another one. This is a supernatural detective show. If you can pull up your notes, please. This is called
the name of it.
This is called Unhammocked.
Unhammocked.
Unhammocked. All right, so here we go. I want to get some music playing here. And,
so what? You got like 3 characters on this one?
Yeah, there's a few. All right, so Hammock, you'll be playing Hammock. Pernell, you'll be playing the Ghost.
Okay.
And I'll be playing I'll do the stage direction and the other characters.
Oh, mercy. This is going to be a weird one, too.
Leaving the force after accidentally shooting a victim, Hammock, played by Hammock, shuts himself away in a small oceanside town in New England. Now his ghosts are coming back to haunt him and help him solve a series of murders in his new town. All right, here we go. It's the middle of February. Bitter cold, and we find Hammock walking along the beach.
My God, it's cold here, but it's what I deserve for killing that guy.
A gust of wind hits his face.
And that guy was an innocent victim, the guy that I killed.
That's right, he was. And now you must feel the cold, the icy cold of guilt. Ice guilt.
I probably should have noted that was a ghost talking to Hammock. All right. Suddenly, a young boy runs across the beach towards Hammock. Mister, are you a police officer?
I haven't heard that name in a long time.
What the heck, man? That's not your name!
Someone's been murdered in the old sea shack place that all people in New England know about.
And we all know about that murder, eh, Hammock?
I suppose we do.
What does that mean?
I'm here to help. Where's the body?
You're damn right.
Hammock and the Ghost go and they solve murders and they fight crime.
Well, you gotta acknowledge that the ghost can possess people for a short period of time in every episode.
Yeah, that would be that's a good idea. So maybe the ghost possesses. See, in my mind, I thought it would be good if the ghost was actually there to haunt the detective, but then inadvertently helps him. But ultimately,
that would be an interesting writing
really
setup.
The adversary, yeah.
That would require some very skilled writing. I can see that being done for like 1 or 2 episodes, but for like multiple seasons of the ghost accidentally helping you, that's work.
Clearly not something I can write, but maybe
this
in
ghost
better
is incompetent. Like, man, I'm a terrible ghost. And the funny part was, I was thinking, like, should I do that whole ghostly voice thing with him? He's like, you're damn right. But I was like, nah, if I was a ghost, I'd still be a pretty cool, chill ghost.
Yeah, you
damn right.
You continued your low, chill voice there. I'm a ghost. What you gonna do about it?
I'm here to haunt you. You don't like it? Should have killed me. That's how I do things.
Oh my God.
I'm a spooky ghost.
All right, spooky ghost. What's your next track?
All right, so the next track, I'm glad this is the topic because I can't think of another time I would have picked this track for an episode by sound, at least. So this track comes from the game Crawl Code Block Knockers, and the title is called Knockturnal, and it's composed by the Opus Science Collective.
Now, this is the game I was talking about at the top of the show.
I know. Oh, I do.
I was like, Block Knockers? What's going on here? But now I have a story about similar titles that I found at an arcade game. At the beach.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. No, it's true actually, but not recently. Anyway. if you don't think I'm gonna leave that in the episode for now,
it's so good. It just reminds me of like those like old like late 80s R&B songs. I'm gonna feel alright. Welcome back. You're listening to Knockturnal from the game Clarke Block Knockers, composed by Opus Science Collective. And I've been interested in trying to get this track on the show for a bit, but didn't quite know what topic would be appropriate for it. Now, just throwing that heads up out there, we are a family-friendly show, so don't technically go look this game up unless you're okay with that, being that this does not fit that mold. Funny thing about my history with certain things, like so with reviews, I do reviews for the SNL podcast, and it's become a random joke of sorts where I'll come across certain games, or like the host Joe will come across certain games, knowing that I am intentionally trying to find games that are either hilarious to review or bad games. And when I say bad games, I don't mean like an obvious bad game where it was like done on like a TI-87 or something. I mean like a game that it's just bad, but it could have been good. But that, put it that way, like is that balance between just terrible and good. And when I came across this game, I was like, just trying to talk about this game on a review will be hilarious. So I ain't gonna review it. So I requested it, we got it, and I started playing it, and the first thing that caught me was, wow, this music is legit. Like this is the kind of stuff that I could have gladly seen in a big budget title, and I would have been happy to hear it pop up in the game proper. So I've been a fan of it ever since. Like the music is, if anything, I like the music more than the game. But the game turned out to not be bad either. Just the music is where it's at. So I'm very glad to bring this on the show. And it fits the theme to the letter. It's like that late night red light district, like setting. You're trying to work a case, but you got to keep your eyes on the prize. That prize being victory, success. Justice.
There's like a lightheartedness to this track too. I think it has to do with that keyboard kind of almost like lyrical kind of solo happening. It's dark, but it's not super dark. You know, it's like just dark enough.
That's the red light district. It's dark, but it's very well lit.
So it reminds me. So I used to play like 80s arcade game Qix, Qix, where you would draw a box and you would avoid the bad guys, but the box would fill in a screen with a color. And I
remember that.
There were versions of this game, I don't know if they were on home consoles, where you would fill in the screen, but instead of a color, it would reveal a photograph on the screen.
I remember those too.
And
usually had bars.
Yeah, so back in the early 90s, late 80s, my family would go to the beach, specifically out here, Rehoboth Beach, which back then was way more family-friendly, I guess, and so we would be out on our own. And the arcades out there were incredible. Like the games that they have, you would never see anywhere else. Like they had the 6-player X-Men arcade machines and all sorts of interesting stuff. And at the back of one of them, I saw Qix, and I'm like, this is fantastic. I'm going to play some Qix. And it was anime characters in various degrees of clothing.
Like, wait a minute, I didn't sign up for this, or did I?
I have never seen it again. But like, I knew it was a thing, that these types of like I guess it was a ROM hack, or it was just like a clone of the game with its own little spin to it. And
I think it was just like there was a market that was intentionally taking games and designing them for adult bars. I don't know how that arcade ended up getting it, but there was a lot of that kind of thing going on back then, where they wanted media specifically for adults in like CD bars, and that's how those came to be. Yeah, and also why like a lot of I don't want to say a lot of 3DO games came, but like a lot of Neo Geo games kind of did like weird stuff like that, like just where they were designed with this intent in mind.
Yeah, exactly. I was talking about the 3DO like video novel / just image preview page through type things from before. But the like to bring it back full circle is like Rehoboth is still like a great like beach destination out here, but the problems now is that there's just no more arcades. If there's an arcade, it's just claw machines and ticket dispenser type things.
And isn't this pretty much the one that's attached to the amusement park now? Not so much even its own building.
There's a few. There's along the way, and if you leave and you go a little ways to Bethany, where I went with my family a couple years ago, and they had one that actually had an ITG machine, not even DDR, it was ITG, and I was really excited about that. But they had more arcade style machines. They had a Daytona machine that was playing that theme song like all day long, and I could tell the people who worked there were like freaking out. But
it was perfect for the beach.
Yeah, but way back when, it was like the only place where I ever saw like Street Fighter Alpha 2, or like Super Pac-Man, like those games that you just don't see everywhere. Like they were all in these locations.
I think back on that too. Like it makes me kind of sad because that was an era that I never got to experience. But the thought of when arcades were prevalent and family summer vacations were a thing. So you'd have these brand new hot games at the beaches, and all these kids from all these different areas of the world are coming to this one beach for this week or weekend. Yeah. And then just that scene that will just crop up in that arcade at that exact time. Like you'll be playing with people you might never see again. Yeah. From all over the place. Like this guy's like the champion of like Street Fighter Alpha. Where's he from? California. You're in Boduk, Delaware. It's like, well, let me see if I can take this guy. And then you win, and you walk out like, I'm a champion. I beat a Californian guy. You tell me nothing. You go tell all your friends, I'm the world champion.
Well, now that I'm older, like I realize how lucky we are, like to live where we are, because we used to go for day trips. You just drive down and just be like an hour or two in the car, which of course as a kid felt like forever. But we could do that.
That Game Boy.
Yeah, exactly. Saw the Game Boy. Play some like Legend of Zelda. At least during the day. On the way back, you couldn't.
Because it's too dark. Well, it depends. If you had that giant goat, that Voltron attachment, you could.
Three kids in the back seat. That ain't happening. But yeah, anything like that up in Port Town or Aqua City.
I love how you keep coming up with a new name for his town.
No, it's Aqua City is where he lives in my mind. It's the fun zone.
Aqua City is where I spend most of my time, but I do travel around to Port Town and sometimes Nitro City. But yeah, I grew up in Texas actually, and so we would take road trips down to the beautiful Gulf of Mexico. Down to Corpus Christi and Galveston.
Okay.
And not great memories of that area per se. No really good arcades, but just a lot of gross jellyfish that washed up on the shore. Awesome. Portuguese man o' wars.
Oh, neat.
And
that just sounds interesting to me.
Yeah, they look like little balloons, and as a kid, you're like, pick them up, and your parents are screaming, no, put that down. But
it's gummy, Mom, it's gummy.
Those were fun days, traveling with the family.
Actually, I must be curious to hear that. So I've been watching Fear the Walking Dead, which is just I don't know what got me back on the show, but I like marathon 3 seasons of it. And a surprisingly major plot point for a character at one point was to get to Galveston to see the shore. So as a person, likely the first person I've ever encountered that's actually been to Galveston, was the journey in a zombie apocalypse worth it to see the beaches of Galveston?
No, probably not. But, I guess when the world is overrun with zombies, then you gotta take what you can get.
Yeah.
That's a zombie man of war. Whoa.
Take the extra trip. Come to the Delaware beaches. They're super clean. They're inclusive and beautiful.
Yeah, but in a zombie apocalypse, that's a long trip
restaurants.
from Galveston, man.
Yeah, that would be.
All right, so we're going to actually start the bonus round this time with Hammock. Please, Hammock, start our bonus round with some beats that will rock Pernell's pants.
I'm off for that.
Okay, that's a challenge. So I looked everywhere for an arrangement or a remix of this track, and I couldn't find it, so I'm just going to go with the old school Game Boy version.
Ooh, yes.
I mean, we couldn't talk about Buddy Cop music without a track from Lethal Weapon. So this is the ending and staff from Lethal Weapon on the Game Boy, composed by Neil Baldwin.
Neil Baldwin, one of my favorite old school composers. So this is this is a great pick.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that was something that could have been conveyed on audio, where I was like, he made that comment, and I tried to turn with the look as if I was looking at his window in Discord. Like, what?
Actually, if we can do a freeze frame, pointing at each other, I'll take a screenshot of that. It's the ending and staff roll from the game Lethal Weapon for the Game Boy. Composed by Neil Baldwin.
Now that's a buddy copter.
Danny Glover. And what's his name? Bruce Willis. No, I'm sorry.
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. Bruce Willis. Close enough.
Before he saw dead people, he was actually Mel Gibson.
Yeah, right. Oh my gosh. That lick, man. That lick is just too good. Ugh.
Like I said in the break, I'm genuinely a big sucker for when tracks use that one sound effect where it's like a bubble pop, like bloop, bloop, bloop.
Yeah, Pernell, the arpeggio effect, man. Just
is that what that is?
Yeah, but just like scattered. It's like it's a staccato arpeggio. I'm using two terms for you. Getting Latin on.
I find it hilarious. Like we keep joking about having to do an episode specifically called the arpeggio effect. It'll be a brutal one for me because even though I've had it described to me a gajillion times, I still would have difficulty picking tracks that reference it or that utilize it.
It is quite literally the bleep and the bloops. But yeah, the triangle wave is so deep on the Game Boy on this track. It's just it's so much louder than everything else. It's really interesting to hear that. You don't normally hear that on the NES because the triangle wave doesn't have a volume modulator on it. You can't control the volume of the triangle wave. So the only way to make the bass sound any louder is to make everything else quieter.
Okay.
Yeah. So which is why if you put in, like, say, the same thing with the samples too. So if you put in, say, anything from a lot of the Western composers or even Konami where there's a lot of samples, it usually sounds quieter when you play it through the TV. Nowadays, you don't really think about it too much if you're just listening to the tracks on YouTube or if you're playing through an emulator. But back in the day, it would be like, why is my Ninja Turtles game so much quieter than everything else? But
and that's the reason why.
Yeah, but if you bump up that triangle wave, it has like a kind of a cool, like, kind of reedy sound to it. It's like it's deep, but it's like so deep it's like burrowing a hole into the ground, you know. But yeah, Lethal Weapon's like the ultimate, like one of the ultimate buddy cop like movies. Like it really was.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most known ones for sure, or well-known ones. I think even now when you lay it out, because like I'd want to say it would be what Lethal Weapon, maybe Rush Hour would come to mind for people nowadays.
Rush Hour's a good one.
Yeah, Rush Hour.
I watched that again fairly recently, and it was entertaining. Surprisingly more racist than I remembered, but it's all right, you know. But
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like if you keep it in the context of when it came out, it's like, okay, I get it. But if it came out today, you'd be like, whoa, bro.
Yeah, right. It would not re-release as it was today. But still, I mean, if you had Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan together, it's still a fun combination. Would you say that Axel Foley and Judge Reinhold, right? would they be those are buddy cops, right? Would you call that a buddy cop movie?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Beverly Hills Cop, right?
Yeah,
Beverly Hills Cop. He's on his own a lot though, but I think you gotta have like a straight man and like the funny guy, or like the guy like doing things his own way.
It's that, and there's also the element of just like a happy person and a disgruntled person. That's one that works too. Yeah. Like, oh, come on, cheer up, man! Here's a vase with roses in it, and they just shoot the vase like dead roses.
Yeah, and I haven't seen this one, but Bad Boys, right, with Martin.
I loved that.
Well, I want to say it's Martin. I want to say it's Martin Freeman, but it's not Martin Freeman.
Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And I keep hearing they're actually trying to make another one.
I think did they actually do that?
It may have already come up. I swear.
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, so one of my favorite movies, like all-time favorite movies, is Hot Fuzz, which is
that was great.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, where there's a lot of references to buddy cop movies, but it's so over the top.
It was weird as the Dickens when they got the plot twist. It was like, whoa.
Yeah, every time. It just kills me. I laugh so hard at that movie. All right, so moving on. Finally, we're going to get to that Tim Follin track that I've been bugging everybody about. This is... Here we go. This is the title music from the game Puzznic for the Amiga computer system, composed by Tim Follin. Yes, that was the title theme from Puzznic for the Amiga computer system, composed by Tim Follin, and that had some serious like Beverly Hills Cop vibes to it right there. You know, just Eddie Murphy, you know, just wisecracking, putting bananas into tailpipes, and you know, just causing all sorts of trouble for the chief of police. Just doing.
Wouldn't that actually kill a person though?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you know, but in a fun way.
Oh Jesus! You thought
because they'd be like, "Oh my God, a person died, but there was a banana." Dun, 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 and
but did you see it? There was a banana in a tailpipe. You don't just see that everywhere you go. You did.
That's definitely like a fish out of water, plus a guy, bad boy playing by his own rules, plus like the straight man like telling the bad boy playing by his own rules to play by the rules.
Plus banana. Because
he was like the Brooklyn or the New York cop, right, that went to Beverly Hills to like chase down a bad guy. That's pretty good. And I think that movie holds up maybe a little bit. Okay, it's been a while. Okay, it might not have been sober, but it was a fun movie. And
a lot of movies that we liked back in the day were you probably would need to be some. Asking the question, it's enhanced a little bit when you're a little bit on the less sober side.
A little bit, yeah.
Like that's my thing. I feel like with comedies, I'm okay with having a little liquor in me. But when it comes to like deep cuts that require me to like think deeper into the plot and start piecing together and different characters and like how they're connected and all, I'm like, no, I gotta go in there straight face, staring with a notepad. I don't mess around.
With a notepad. You gotta take notes. You gotta figure out who the killer is.
I get it in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to solve the movie in the first 10 minutes.
Are you the one
All right, I've got a question for you both.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Would you consider Arnold Schwarzenegger and the 20 or so kids in his classroom in Kindergarten Cop, does that constitute as a buddy cop movie?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of different buddies.
That's a lot of buddies.
It's a lot of little buddies.
That's a surprisingly violent movie too. I remember that.
Or maybe not violent enough. I mean, if you hung around kindergartners, woof, they don't mess around either. But I digress. But I feel like the plot is.
I would go for it. Yeah.
I'm solid for
this
it.
Is like,
and I've always been a fan of like movies where like the kids kind of end up doing the majority of the legwork to save the day. Like the adults are too stupid to figure it out. It's up to us because we're small.
What about RoboCop and his computer system? Are they? Do you consider that a buddy cop?
I don't remember. Like, so in RoboCop, did his brain actually have a separate entity to it that he used to talk to the actual suit?
No, but there was definitely he was trying to find his humanity while being, a robot, straight up murder.
Oh, that I remember. Yeah, I bet they're still close enough as one entity. That couldn't be a buddy.
Kindergarten Cop definitely more of a buddies cop movie.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, little buddies,
little buddies cop movie.
See, now I feel like I need to start looking into more like buddy cop films because it's been a while since I've actually caught a good one.
I mean, I guess you have like Knight Rider, right? Michael Knight and his car.
His car,
buddies.
Yeah.
I don't know. Was he a cop?
He was just I think it was a private detective. I don't know. Good point.
Okay, there you go. So if he was a private detective or if he was like a bounty hunter, right? So he's playing by his own rules. But
now what about Night Boat?
Yeah. The car's got to follow the rules of the road.
What about Night Boat?
Night Boat, yeah. There's always a canal or a river nearby.
Or a fjord.
A fjord.
God, that was like one of my favorite like weird Simpsons episodes. Like, he's getting away. Not quite. Look over there. A peninsula. Like, what? But it's such a great show.
All right, Pernell, what's your final track for the bonus round?
Well, I struggled with this one. I really did. And it didn't really help that I was initially determined to find a remix or a cover of the city theme from Kid Chameleon. That would have been perfect for this theme. Turns out, of all the ones I found, I only liked one, and I already picked it on episode 20 and from World 22. So couldn't use it. But I did find something that was also quite good and unexpected even. So let's see if you guys think this track fits the theme enough to be included on the episode. This is the Castle remix, kind of fitting from our last quiz, huh, Rob?
Yes. Did get that question wrong.
We're still friends.
Yeah.
The Castle remix theme, a remix of the Castle theme from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, composed by Noteblock. Spooky Funk! Welcome back. You just listened to the Castle remix theme from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, remixed and arranged or composed, whatever word you want to use, by the one and only Noteblock. What did you guys think? Do you feel as though that incorporated enough elements to be included on a Buddy Cop or perhaps a very special episode of Buddy Cop Thieves?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I think it would be the great theme song to Unhammocked.
Unhammocked. Yeah.
Oh, there, good call. Yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Definitely horror / police procedural. Some supernatural elements.
The ghosts on the turntable.
Yeah.
Wiki, 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 wiki.
Yeah, they got
Maniac
to track down the killer into a nightclub somehow to get this one going.
I was joking. I was like, spoiler alert, the final castle stage in Mario 3D World is a nightclub.
That's really good. Man, Noteblock's got some really good remixes. Definitely channeling that modern synthwave vibe with this one. But anyway, for more information on the bonus round, go to rhythmandpixels.com. We'll have links to SoundClouds and Bandcamps and everywhere where you can go get the music and buy the music or and support these artists. Thanks for joining us on episode 26-4, the Buddy Cop special with Hammock from KVGM, The Last Wave. Here, spreading the love, spreading the tunes, spreading
the procedurals,
spreading the justice across a variety of buddies.
Honestly, this topic was great. It made me want to think more about various, buddy cop, mediums, like they're like movies or TV shows, because I have a history with some, but not nearly enough. Like recent years, though, it's not technically a cop show; it's just buddy detective work. I was a huge fan of Psych.
Yes, yeah,
and of course, back in the day, it was like I said, we were talking about earlier, it's Cagney and Lacey, Turner and Hooch. I liked Rush Hour. And Hammock's crazy question about Kindergarten Cop. But now I'm trying to think of get some other ones that might not be coming to mind. I'm like, wait a minute, that technically counts. I was into that.
There was okay, that's right. Here we go. There was a 21 Jump Street reboot. That one kind of.
New York Undercover would have been one.
Yeah, New York Undercover.
Tango and
I
Cash.
watched a lot of that shit.
Tango and Cash. Yeah, then I think they remade that one too, right? I think I saw that had Ben Stiller in it.
Oh, really?
Would
Starsky
chips
and Hutch
count?
Oh, that was Starsky and Hutch.
How did I not remember Starsky and Hutch?
Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson, yeah. I think I turned that on Netflix and I started it and I was like, maybe not tonight. And then I turned it off.
That's like one of the big ones for like the name and name some structure. Starsky and Hutch. And I always loved the fact that it kind of faded away as time went on, but they always used to have that one random informant who just knew everyone in the streets.
Yes. The Huggy Bear.
Huggy Bear.
There was one that came out, I guess about 10 years ago. It was a Kevin Smith movie, one of the last Kevin Smith movies that I saw that I was really excited about because it was so different. It had Bruce Willis and Tracy Morgan.
People say Tracy Ullman, like, really?
It was Tracy. It was called Cop Out. And it was pretty silly, but it was definitely Bruce Willis playing his character and Tracy Morgan playing his character. And just being really goofy with each other. So I think that one's worth renting or streaming if you can do that one.
And what was the one we talked about earlier? We didn't mention it on the air. The most ridiculous one was Whoopi Goldberg and a dinosaur.
Yes. Oh, okay. What was that one called? Did you remember that one? It was Whoopi Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember the name of it. I just know that was the pairing. And
I don't think it came out in the theaters. It was.
No, it was direct to tape.
It was called Theodore Rex.
It's like who sat down and said, I got it, this is going to save our studio. We need Whoopi Goldberg to hang out with a really short-armed dinosaur.
Here we go. So I did not write this.
Crimes.
I did not write the synopsis. This is straight from IMDb. A no-nonsense police detective, Katie Coltrane, Whoopi Goldberg, lives in a futuristic world where dinosaurs coexist and communicate with humans thanks to the wonders of science. However, Katie isn't too thrilled when she's teamed up with a goofy dinosaur partner named Theodore Rex. My God.
Wow. I swear I don't know who comes up with these concepts, but wow.
I wonder if the producers of that sitcom Dinosaurs, where the big dinosaur costumes were involved with that one. Probably, right?
I love that. That was the Jim Henson found Productions.
Was that a Henson joint? That was a Henson joint?
Yeah, Jim Henson. I want to say, my memory's off, but I want to say it may have been one of the last things he was alive for.
Oh, wow.
But, like, yeah, I remember, I was a big fan of dinosaurs.
Yeah, the 90s kind of, like if that was the end of your career in the 90s, you know, they were doing some weird things, like the Street Fighter movie and stuff like that was coming out.
Well, I mean, even before that, they had weird enough stuff. What was it, Fraggle Rock? They talked to a giant pile of trash. I mean, it happens. Weird things happen on TV. But it was entertaining, and that was the important part.
Well,
have either of you seen Samurai Cop?
Samurai Cop?
What?
Oh, that sounds familiar. I gotta look that up.
Samurai Cop from the 80s. If you've never seen it, please watch it. It's the worst movie, but the best movie at the same time.
I'm writing that down. And now we're on that topic, too.
God, this looks crazy.
It's worth also mentioning, like, I used to watch a fair bit of anime that was, like, buddy cop specific style. Like, there was, like, Dirty Pair and Geo Breeders. My favorite was New Dominion Tank Police.
Yeah,
and the partnership was primarily a woman in her tank. Though she also had another partner that was purely her in her tank. And it was an awesome show. But there were a number of really cool, like, animes that dealt in the whole buddy cop concept too, worth checking out.
There was one Gunsmith Cats.
Crazy. Yeah,
Gunsmith Cats. Yeah, I actually have the manga here for that too. It's a good show. Riley, I can't remember the other girl's name, but one was named like Riley. There you go. See, look at this. We're just recommending stuff to people.
Yeah,
right.
See,
like buddy cops, get it in.
The buddy cop genre is all over the world, right? It doesn't know any national boundaries. People like cops.
Fish police.
Who like each other, sort of. Not at the beginning, but at the end. Fish.
Do you remember that show?
I do remember
Fish Police. It got all of one season. I don't even think it got the full season.
No, but I
watched it.
I watched it too. I was like, this sounds crazy. Nighttime animation, like prime time.
It's crime, but it's underwater crime. That makes it different.
It's underwater crime.
Oh my god, I tell you. What is the next thing? We need crime, but it's in space. We need space cops.
Space cops.
It's crime, but it's deep down in the center of the earth. We need the magma police.
They take care of the mole man justice.
It's crime, but it exists between layers of reality. It's just something.
Well, before Pernell loses his mind and brings up like another 90s sitcom show that I would like to forget, I'm gonna finish the show out by saying
Family Dog.
Okay, you know what? That was a Spielberg thing.
It was terrible.
Thank you, Hammock from KVGM The Last Wave. I really appreciate you coming on the show and doing this topic and bringing some tunes.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. It was a blast as always.
Could you please tell our listeners where they can find you, where they can find your voice?
You can find my voice on iTunes, Spotify, anywhere. Just check out KVGM The Last Wave. You can go to our website, kvgmradio.com. Check us out there. We've got all the shows and ways to reach out and take a listen.
And if by some chance the last weekend finally gets around to setting it up, we may be at odds. Or are we on the same team? I don't even remember anymore. Are we on the same team?
I kind of stopped paying attention to the VGM Fight Club, but definitely listen to the VGM Fight Club. You can find that on I think Anchor FM. I think it's also on iTunes. Hosted by one of our listeners, The Last Rican. Yeah.
And we're gonna hopefully battle it out.
All your favorite,
either with or against Hammock.
All your favorite podcasters fighting it out in a tag team battle.
Battling it out in a battle royale.
But anyway, if you want to contact us, Rob and Pernell, if you have a track suggestion, a topic suggestion, or if you're a musician, or if you know a musician and you'd like to get involved with us, please send us an email.
rhythmandpixels@hotmail.com.
And for a full track listing from this episode, all of our episodes, and access to all of our shows, go to the website
rhythmandpixels.com.
You can find us on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. It's Rhythm and Pixels. It's all one word. On Facebook, we have a little group called Rhythm and Pixels Chat. We have a Discord server where you can hang out and chat with us and some other listeners. You can find the link to that on our website at youtube.com/rhythmandpixels, or we have all of our episodes are uploaded there. And we have a 24/7 live stream radio station that plays nothing but 8-bit and 16-bit classics and deep cuts. And for probably by the end of next week, I'm going to have a huge update to that playlist with Commodore 64 music from Forever Sound version and tons of new Nintendo tracks and beats thanks to Ed Wilson and his massive library of music over there at the VG Embassy. So check that out, youtube.com/rhythmandpixels. And if you'd like to support the show, the best thing you can do is just to tell people about the show, call people up.
Spread the word like
just
marmalade.
Cold call everyone in your district and say, we want Rhythm and Pixels. And
give us Rhythm and Pixels or go to heck.
We'll come to your town and we'll build that playground and we'll create that community center for the children on top of creating an amazing podcast.
Flexing for it.
Yeah, he's ready for it.
Making great ideas. Yeah, I want to build this rec center now. See, look what you're doing.
Yeah. The kids got to break dance. The kids got to break dance somewhere.
And fun fact, we're going to go and start to do it, and then as we start to break ground, we find a dead body. And you know what that means? Robin Pernell on the scene and Rhythm Police solving crime with music.
It had to be Rhythm and Police. I can't believe I didn't make that connection before the show.
That's right.
But anyway, if you also want to, you can support us in other ways. You can go to patreon.com/rhythmandpixels. You get access to a prequel episode every week. You get access to a live streamed recorded episode every month. And that is going to be next Thursday, the following week after this episode is released. And we also like to shout out our Patreon members at the end of the show. Thank Frankly Zappa, Mike Myers, That Nick Walker, Ed Wilson of the VG Embassy, Mats Holmqvist, Michael Jennings, Davey Cakes, Justin Bieber from XVGM Radio,
Snyder,
Sonic Medley, Taco, Harold Howard, Dave Taylor, Reinhard Selkova, Andreas Mielberg, Dan Loughton, Sleepy S'more, Steve Miller, The Autistic Gamer 89, Cameron Werma, Christopher Shenstrom, Bobby Arson from One Up Funk, Wicked Sephiroth, Carlos Kung Fu Carlito from the Heroes 3 podcast, Michael Bridgewater from the Forever Sound version VGM podcast, and Brian Pitt. So thank you so much for supporting our show every week, or every month rather. So it's definitely appreciated.
Very much appreciated. And also something worth noting, I didn't think about it till now, but last week or so, I finally realized that I can record stuff properly using OBS. Like, I can actually do real recordings and put them up on YouTube or even stream them directly without a lot of effort and finagle work.
Have you done any more streaming since last time?
No, only because I got caught up in some review stuff. But I actually started playing a game, actually right before this episode started, called was it Onomi or Omni or something like that. Basically, the idea is like you're some kid who was a hikikomori. There it is, the name of the game, Omori. And it's essentially like a game that's supposed to play like Earthbound, but people are comparing it to like what Undertale was like, how it like became like a huge phenomenon. They're saying this is like the next Undertale. And I was like, well, funny. I actually got on board before that declaration, so let's see how this plays out. Yeah. So I started playing that, and of course Robbie Reeby again, but I'm mainly interested in what other people would like to see me play. I know it was suggested by the Phantomeer, Dan Loughton, that I do a La Mulana speed run, but I'm gonna be honest, I think that would be more hell than fun, even from the fact that I like challenge.
I think it'd be
a nightmare.
It's different when you already know all the answers to the puzzles.
No,
too.
Trust me, no, it's not. It's not. There's so much in there that you forget stuff.
Yeah, and I'm doing a lot more streaming now too. But you can find Pernell at twitch.tv/purenell, and I'm on there as Rabuman. 8 a.m. Eastern time, playing DDR in the mornings before work. You do it
every day?
I do it most days. If I'm playing, I just turn on the stream. You can see me sweating to the K-pop. But that's what I do. So anyway, I want to thanks again, Hammock, for joining us and taking the time out with us. I know it's across the country, across time zones. My dog is barking. I'm sorry. Across time zones. I know it's no easy thing, but we do appreciate you spending the time with us. Thank you. Okay, and
I love you were nodding like they can't see it.
we are Rhythm and Pixels. My name is Rob Nichols. Pernell, you can see me.
I can't see anything. Oh my god, I'm blind.
That's Pernell. Have a good week.
And remember, and I guess in the spirit of the concept of this topic, even, obviously everyone isn't 100% going to ring your bell as far as like commonality and interests go, or even just like compatibility and social, aspects. But that doesn't necessarily mean you have to write them out because of that. Because sometimes it's the differences that make the relationship that much more special. And who knows, if you can break through that barrier and find that ground that makes you guys click, you might be out there solving murder someday. Or, I don't know, solving other cases like who put the mud in the freezer or who spilled the milk on the floor. Whatever. But the point is, don't write people off just because you're slightly different. Even if they don't like games and you like games, or even if you're loud and they're quiet, doesn't matter. Maybe you'll come together and form a nice mid-tone harmony.